Okay, well, today's class we will start laying down. So go ahead and make your way to your yoga mat if you're not there already. Go ahead and find some kind of supine position or back facing down position. It's always just infinite options as you begin. So just decide if it feels good to have your legs and arms outstretched. Maybe knees bent. Your arms really can do whatever they want to do. You could find a new spot for them to rest or just head right to that tried and true variation that you like. And as you settle in, maybe closing the eyes down, and then noticing all the points of your body that touch the floor or your props. See if you can create kind of a little melting sensation so that more of your body softens and then touches the floor. And finding your breath and just kind of watching it as it flows. Maybe deepening your breath, drawing the air down to the lowest parts of your lungs for some diaphragmatic breath. So we're filling the belly with the inhales and then softening with the exhales. And instead of just thinking about the belly expanding, think about it kind of in like a three-dimensional space. So like your entire midsection kind of expanding and relaxing with each breath. And as you do, just notice what's present for you today. Any feelings or thoughts or emotions? Breathing and pondering what's present for me today. Themes or colors or any kind of patterns. And then coming back to the physical body here, we'll scan through some major groups, areas of the body, some muscle groups, joints, etc. So starting down at your toes, wiggle your toes a little bit here, just making sure they're on line, and then relaxing, noticing the legs and the lower half of the body, noticing anything that catches your attention, up through the pelvis, the glutes, the back, the belly, your chest, entire torso. Anything going on here? And becoming aware of your shoulder joints and your shoulder blades, both arms and hands. Bringing your awareness up to your throat and jaw. Excuse me. And softening your jaw, relaxing your tongue, just kind of letting your tongue widen, smoothing out your forehead and face. And just kind of scanning up and down through the whole body a couple times more, noticing if anything needs your attention or some extra care today. And if you'd like to set a dedication or intention, now's a good time to bring something up. As always, it could be an intention that you're working with long term. Sometimes people choose like a word of the year or a theme of the month. It can be kind of random or, just work with any kind of focus you might be interested in. And let's start to deepen the breath and take 3 clearing breaths now. So inhale through the nose, exhale with a sigh. 2 more like that. Go right ahead. And then starting to awaken with some movement, maybe wiggling fingers and toes, maybe letting your head rock from side to side. I always like to go right into a long body stretch. It just feels like the right kind of move, right? Have you ever seen, there's some cute videos online now of like unwrapping a baby from their nice little swaddled wrap, and then they just shoot their arms up and their legs out, and it looks wonderful. Okay, well, if you have any props that you're on, if you had a pillow or anything, you might want to move those to the side now. We will stand the feet up so the soles of the feet are somewhat close to the glutes. And tucking your shoulder blades in behind your back, pressing your hands down into the sides of your mat. And we're just going to move the arms here first. So with an inhale, start to lift your arms up, straight up, and then overhead. You'll see how that weight shifts across your back and your shoulder blades. And with your exhale, lower your arms back down. So go ahead and do that a couple of times. Take it slow. Feel how the weight shifts. We're inhaling as the arms come up. And then exhaling as the arms come back down. And depending on your shoulder anatomy and mobility levels, it's possible that you might notice as the arms go overhead, sometimes when we're getting a little bit out of our range of motion, we'll see some overcompensation through the rib cage. So you might see the rib cage or feel the rib cage kind of popping up as your arms go up and overhead. So just see if you can keep some contact between your back, your low back, and the floor. Sometimes that means kind of tucking your tailbone under, and then just see how far do the arms want to go up comfortably without overcompensating through the spine. Such a simple movement, but I feel like there's just so much information you could gather just with these simple movements. Okay, your choice if you stay with this movement or add on. We're going to do a little flow here with our bridge pose. It's called dynamic bridge pose. So first, just pick up your toes, spread them out, and then set them down so you have a nice solid base. With your inhale, we're gonna lift those arms right back up, but this time we're also lifting up the hips, the pelvis. So coming all the way up to bridge pose as your arms reach overhead. Maybe tucking your chin down toward your chest so the back of your neck feels spacious. And then with your exhale, lower back down. Go ahead and give that a try about 2 more times. Inhaling as your arms and the hip points rise. Pressing down through all edges of your feet if you can. And then exhale, right back down. We're gonna take a little break. So when you're done with the next one, just kind of rest on the floor here. Let go of any engagement through your muscles, your core, your glutes. Then we're we're going to find a flow with this. We're going to add on one more option. And it's always your choice how high you're lifting up into a bridge. You can take these really small and just do like micro movements or go full out. It's up to you. Okay, so with our inhale, we're lifting those arms up, lifting the pelvis up, coming to that bridge pose. And then exhale, lower everything back down. All right, here's where it's getting a little wild. With our inhale, let's straighten those legs up toward the sky. Lift your arms up and overhead. And then exhale, bend your knees, bring them back down, hands back down by your sides. We'll do that a few times, so starting over. Inhale, find your dynamic bridge pose, just lifting the pelvis and the arms. Exhale as you lower back down. Take it at your own pace here. Now we're inhaling as we straighten the legs up, lift the arms up and overhead in that same arc pattern. Maybe pause at the top if you'd like, and then when your exhale wants to come out, bending your knees and bringing your hands back down by your sides. Let's do this one more time. Inhaling, pelvis rises, arms rise. And exhaling as we lower down, really awakening our energy, our prana with these movements. Inhale as the arms and legs lift up. Pause at the top if you want. And then exhale, lower your feet, lower your arms. Take a moment just to rest here and notice if your body is feeling a little more alive. There's more flow in. And then we'll roll to either side and then press your way on up. Right away here, we'll come to hands and knees for a few rounds of cat and cow. It's always a good time to bring some extra cushioning underneath your knees if you like that. I think it's like a little treat to give yourself, even if you don't need it. You never need it to use the props if you need them. You can do whatever you want. So I'm bringing knees onto a blanket today. Hands can come up on blocks as well for a little less pressure in your wrists. Just keep taking care of you. With your inhale, we're finding cow pose, belly lowering, gaze and tailbone lifting, pressing into the hands. And exhale, cat pose, rounding up through your spine, tucking your chin, tucking your tailbone, and continuing to press the floor away, getting a nice little shoulder stretch. Inhale, cow pose. And exhale, cat. Keep going. Now inhaling to cow. Eventually exhaling to cat. Adding on any other organic movement along the way. Sometimes a little twist or turn through the shoulders or the hips can be nice. And when the timing is right for you, let's make our way to extended child's pose with the knees out wide and the big toes touching behind you, possibly sinking your seat toward your heels if that feels okay on your knees. If not, you can always stay pretty lifted here and still come down to the forearms or reach your hands out toward the top of your mat. So you're choosing here what feels best. You can also kind of sit on something behind you, so you're wedging a pillow or cushion between your legs and the back there. And we have got lots of space here for some more diaphragmatic breath. So really letting that belly expand, a three-dimensional expansion here as the breath rolls in. And softening with each exhale. Just kind of pumping the system here energetically with the breath. Out with the old, in with the new or the fresh. we'll add on a little thread the needle action here. You can either take this from the extended child's pose legs and just do the arms threading the needle, or you can come up to tabletop and then find your thread the needle pose this way. I think I'm going to do the legs we're already in. So we're just going to come up a little bit, plant your left hand on the floor. With your inhale, kind of rise up as you reach your right hand high, upward twist. And then exhale, thread the needle, right arm dipping down and through. And if that right shoulder and right side of your head can touch the floor, awesome. If not, you can get some blocks to help hold your head up or your shoulder. Let your left arm decide what's best. Maybe reaching the left hand up toward the top of your mat. Maybe swirling your left arm around in no particular way. Maybe tucking your left arm behind your back. Let's send about 2 more breaths and the awareness of that breath to the right shoulder and shoulder blade. And then planting your left hand back by your face, press your way up, reaching your right arm high. Give it a little shake or a little circling of that right wrist, a wiggle of the fingers, and then switching sides. If it ever becomes too much on your knees, you can switch which option you're going for here. Same kind of concept. This time we're lifting that left arm up, upward twist. And then following your exhale to thread the needle, left arm dipping down and through. Head and left side of the head and left shoulder, possibly finding the floor or blocks. And when you find your variation, we're sending our awareness and breath to that left shoulder and left shoulder blade. 2 more rounds. And then planting your right hand by your face, press your way all the way up, lifting your left arm high. Give that left arm a little wiggle or a wiggle of the fingers or a shake. And then set the left hand down. Let's go ahead and find a downward dog next. So I love using the blocks the first time through. So grabbing blocks if you like. I also like to move my knee cushion thing away at this time, but if you don't have a very bulky one, it can kind of stay there the whole time. So really active hands here. Think about pressing more weight into the thumb side of your hand, thumb and pointer finger. And then curl your toes, lift your tailbone, press through your arms so your shoulders are extending, reaching. Find your breath here. And you might even try Ujjayi pranayama or like oceanic breath, creating a little bit of a sound as you breathe. Some people say it sounds like the ocean or like Darth Vader. So it's kind of like if you were going to fog a mirror, like, but then with your mouth closed. So it's like, I don't know if you can hear that, but give it a whirl. And possibly finding movement, pedaling your legs out, or twisting through the hips a little bit, or bending and straightening your elbows. Just explore. One more breath here. And then bend your knees and look up toward the top of your mat. Step or walk your way to the top. We'll have a little moment for ragdoll forward fold here. Feet can be as they are, or you can widen them out. Maybe even wider than your mat if you like. Just giving your body some more space in this fold. Keep breathing here and see if a little bit of movement feels nice to you. Kind of like to imagine I'm kind of creating like a figure 4 shape with my shoulders kind of swirling around. Let your head be kind of loose here, maybe nodding your head yes and shaking your head no. And bend a little deeper into the knees, tuck your chin toward your chest, and then walk your hands up your legs as you slowly rise to stand. At the top, just find a nice little bounce and shake through your body wherever it feels right. If you don't know what feels right, you might try lifting and lowering your heels and your shoulders, just kind of getting this deep bounce going through your body. You could swing the arms around or find a little willow tree action, twisting a little bit. Maybe the hands want to shake. Maybe each foot wants to go at their own time. You just keep finding movement, getting our circulation going. All right. Up at the top of our mat now. Let's bend the palms to face the front of the space, finding our mountain pose, Tadasana. With an inhale, reach your arms up and overhead, finding a little bit of a back bend here. And then exhale, forward fold. We're hinging at the hips and letting the hands find the floor or blocks, whatever you can reach. Inhale, slide your hands up your legs, coming to a halfway lift position. And exhale, lower hands down to your blocks. We're going to step the right foot back first and then the left foot to a high plank position. Let's see if we can take 3 breaths here. You can always lower your knees, but nice little challenge. Just about 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. And then with that last exhale, lowering knees and then lowering your chest, moving those blocks to the side if they're in your way. Untuck your toes, press your feet into the mat. So we have really active lower body here, so much that the knees kind of start popping up. You can feel your hamstrings, your glutes, your quads starting to work. And slide your hands down a little closer to your low rib cage as you hug your elbows in toward your sides. Notice how the shoulder blades are really tight together now, really close together behind you. So really active already. With our inhale, rising to baby cobra, using the strength of your core, head and shoulders lift, and then exhale, lower down with control. 2 more like that. We're inhaling to rise up, baby cobra, tops of the feet pressing down, and then exhale, lower. 1 more time. Follow your inhale to rise. Stay lifted if you'd like for your exhale. With your breath in, press your way up to tabletop and back to child's pose, breathing out. Take a few moments in your version of child's pose. Knees could always go out wide again, or you might keep your knees a little closer. Option to tent the fingertips up on the floor, kind of reach through your shoulders. Sometimes that hits the spot. And with an inhale, let's rise up, tabletop, grabbing your blocks again if you like to use them. And then wait for an exhale, and then follow that exhale to downward dog. Let's have 1 big breath here. And breath out. Inhale and start to actually first toe heel your feet together so that your toes are almost touching or touching in the middle. And then with an inhale, start to lift your right foot up behind you for a 3-legged down dog. Option to stay right here, really pressing and energizing through your hands so you're feeling a sense of buoyancy and liftedness. If you want, bend your right knee, open that hip up toward the side. Finding length. Pressing down. Breathe in 1 more time And exhale, step that right foot all the way forward toward the top of your mat. Oof, lots of movement here. We're going to lower that left knee right away. We should have stepped this right foot to the outside of the right foot. So if it's not there, toe heel it way out toward the right edge of your foot. And the toes slightly more at a diagonal as well. I like to have my left hand up on at least one block here on the lowest setting. Maybe 2 blocks stacked if that ends up feeling nice for you. We'll press the right hand into the right knee or thigh, and we're twisting toward that right knee, possibly gazing up. Option to stay right here, or for a mobility challenge, if you can, reach your right hand back, bend your left knee, it's all scrambled now, huh? Your back leg, and if you can reach your foot, possibly grab onto your foot. If you can't comfortably reach that foot like me, you might take an active variation if you want. Just holding that left knee bent, reaching in that direction. Much harder than holding it, I think. And then release. Bring your right hand back up toward the top of your mat. Toe heel that right foot in toward the center. Not the center, just on the inside of that right hand. We're finding a low lunge here, so letting your hips reach forward. We're going to come up onto the highest setting on our blocks now if we're using them. And puff that chest up, lifting your gaze straight ahead. Low lunge. Now for kind of a fun, kind of tricky new move, we are going to curl those left toes under, the back toes under, and we're going to transition to a kind of our half splits position. So we're lifting up the left knee and straightening both legs, and that right foot now we're pulling the toes up. So we kind of end up in this like pyramid-esque shape. And then with our exhale, come back down to your low lunge. We're going to go back and forth a couple times. Pretty active here. We're inhaling as we lower, and then exhale, finding your hamstring stretch, your half splits, right toes again peeling up, so you're kind of balancing there on the right toe, or the right heel, and then exhale back down. Go ahead and do that a couple times at your own pace. You could spend a couple of breaths in each pose if you want, or continue to go 1 breath per pose, your choice. And next time you're down in your low lunge, I'll bring my blocks down to the medium setting here. We're going to curl the left toes under once more. Pick up your left knee, and this time we're stepping toward the top of your mat. So you end up in a forward fold at the top. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, reaching palms together overhead. And exhale, hands come down to your heart center. Take a few moments. Feel your energy. Feel the flow of fluids through your body. Is there any sense of fluid or liquid or energy swirling around you, in you, somewhere? Let's take a clearing breath in through the nose and a sigh to release. Inhale, reach your arms high and just find a little baby back bend. So you're just kind of reaching up and back. And then exhale, forward fold, like you're in slow-mo. No rush to get there. Enjoying the journey. Inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale, hands come down to the floor or blocks. This time we step the left foot back first and then the right to our high plank. And right away, lowering your knees, moving your blocks to the side, and lowering your chest. See if you can remember how to Be aligned for our flowing baby cobra. Just do your best. See what you can remember. Like, where do the shoulders go? What are the legs doing? With your inhale, start to rise up to your baby cobra. And exhale, lower back down. 2 more times, flowing with your own breath. Inhaling as you lift. And exhaling as you lower. On your last round, let's find crocodile pose for a little rest. So stacking your hands or your fists, and then resting your head on top. Make sure your shoulders are feeling relaxed, maybe kind of shrugging them or wiggling them, helping them relax. Letting your heels splay out to the sides. With an inhale, bending your knees so your feet are hanging out in the air behind you. And exhale, straighten your legs. Try to do this with the least amount of effort. Just inhaling as the knees bend, feet lift. And exhaling as they lower. Now you can continue like that or get a little creative with it. With an inhale, just bending one of your knees, doesn't matter which one. So one of your feet is in the air, one is straight. And as you exhale, switch. So other foot lifting as the other one straightens. Let's go ahead and do that a couple of times. Just breathing. Each part of the breath has a movement. And then letting both feet come to rest. Let's take one more big breath here, expanding in all directions. And then planting your hands next to your chest, start to press your way up to tabletop. And then exhale to child's pose, your version. Inhale and exhale, feeling your awareness and your breath reaching the mid and low back. And then rising up to tabletop. Grab your blocks if you like to use them. And then with an exhale, finding your way to our last downward dog. One nice big breath as you arrive. And breath out. If you're not a fan of the 3-legged down dog where you have one foot up in the air, you can just keep here and breathe. If you want to give that variation a try, let's bring our toes together at the center. And then with an inhale, lifting your left foot up behind you, maybe staying here, or bending your left knee and opening up that left hip. So you're really reaching and stretching through that left side. Press into your hands like you have roots shooting down, branches shooting up. Big breath in. And then with your exhale, step the left foot up to the outside of the left hand and set your right foot down. If it's hard to step up, that's okay. Just get that left foot up there on the outside of the left hand however you can. Press your left hand into your left knee or left thigh, and then start twisting toward the left. Again, I just feel best having my right hand up on a block, but it's up to you what you choose there. You can stay right here or take that super extra challenge, reaching your left hand back and reaching for your right foot. Sometimes one side is easier than the other. For some reason, I can reach on this side, but I don't really like to. So I'm gonna take that active version where you're just reaching toward that foot. You're pulling your heel in, really strengthening that right hamstring here. And with an exhale, release. Hand coming back to the top of your mat. We're going to bring that left hand and left hand block now out. So your left foot comes to the inside of the blocks. I'm coming up to the highest setting on my blocks now. You might find that's nice as well. Shifting your hips forward and down. Maybe even tenting your fingertips up on your blocks, just so you can really lift the chest. Pull your shoulder blades back and down as you gaze forward. Really nice hip stretch here. And we'll try that half splits variation where we curl the right toes under and then start to straighten both legs, peeling your left toes up off of the floor, and then you kind of bend and reach toward your heart toward that left knee. Your choice if you stay for a few breaths in each one or start linking it up with your breath. If you want to, inhale, come back down to that low lunge, right knee planting, chest lifting. Exhale, straightening both legs. Back of the left leg stretching. You might continue that way, inhaling, low lunge. Exhaling, straighten, hamstring stretch. Play around with it a little bit more if you'd like. And then when you've had enough, we're meeting with that right knee down for a moment if you need a little break. And then we're going to pick that right knee back up and then step to the top of your mat. Forward fold at the top. Inhale, halfway lift once more. Exhale, soft knees, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Hands join overhead, little tiny back bend. And exhale, hands come to heart center, neutral spine. Take a few moments to notice how things are. How is the quality of your presence, your breath? And let's take a clearing breath now, helping to bring us all back into balance. Inhale through your nose. Exhale with a sigh. All right. Let's start to lower all the way down to the floor here. Take your time, do it in your own way. We're going to meet up on the back. I kind of like to hold my shins or knees as I roll back. Just feels kind of nice. However you choose to get down to your back, we will bring the knees in toward the chest when you get there. And taking some organic movement, circling your knees around as you feel a nice deep massaging pressure there through the low back and the sacrum, glutes. You can get into the hips a little bit depending on how you angle yourself. I always think this pose is like an unsung hero of mine anyway. Okay, then bringing your feet down to the floor. We'll find a little twist. So pick up your pelvis, scoot way over toward the right edge of your mat, set everything down. Arms might come out wide here, and then start to lower and twist your knees toward the left, propping your knees up in any way you see fit. And optional little head movement here. You could inhale as you tilt your gaze slightly to the left, and then exhale as your gaze slowly rocks over toward the right. Inhaling to the left with the head, the chin. Exhaling to the right, just see if that feels interesting. And then you might stop somewhere along that line. if you like, or keep it going. Finding a moment of stillness if you haven't yet. And we'll start to think about switching sides. First, bringing those knees back up to center, gaze lifting to the center as well. And we'll scoot the pelvis way over toward the left edge of the mat, and then allow your knees to start twisting and lowering toward the right. If you like that head movement side to side, go ahead and do that again. If it felt too fast with the breath, you might just go really slow. Maybe it takes a full cycle of breath to get from side to side. Maybe you move so slow it's barely perceptible. It's like there's just worlds of information on every little point along the way to me. Like every little fiber, every little angle. Just, I don't know, it feels like there's a lot going on in there. Some days it doesn't, though. Sometimes it feels like, I don't know, just not connected really in that deep way. And then finding a moment of stillness with your head somewhere along that line of movement. And then start to bring your knees back up to center. Bring your pelvis back to the middle of your mat. And if there are any last movements, poses, stretches, sounds, breath patterns, anything you want to try or do before our final rest, now is your chance. And eventually setting yourself up real nice for Shavasana. Possibly grabbing a pillow or something to place under your knees. Maybe just getting right into that straight leg, straight arm position. If you do, just try to tuck your shoulder blades in behind your back, just so you feel a little more open through the front side of the body. Spending a few rounds of breath with the idea of lengthening your exhale just in the easiest way, the least amount of friction kind of way, just breathing in for a certain amount of time. You don't even have to count. And just make sure that it feels like your exhale is longer. And as you continue to exhale, take any of the tension away from your face, your body. Just imagine that you're just exhaling it out. Sometimes that works so well. Again, just breathing in and then exhaling. Just getting the sense that it's longer than your inhale. As you release tension or anything else that's wanting to move. If you ever find that it is hard to keep your eyes closed, or for some reason it feels distracting, some people say like they can feel their eyelids kind of twitching, or they don't, for some reason it just doesn't feel restful. Highly recommend covering your eyes up, maybe putting together some kind of makeshift eye pillow. Like you could fill up a sock, or maybe make sure it's clean, something with rice. That could be a nice little thing to put over your eyes, or even corner of a sweatshirt or a towel. Sometimes having just a little something over the eyes can help them relax. Breathing and releasing tension and worries with every extended exhale. Taking about one more breath here and see about maxing out on your relaxation with that long exhale. Fully relaxed. You're always welcome to stay here and continue resting. I'm very much in support of any rest you can get. If you're ready to start moving along, let's start with some gentle, kind movement, maybe fingers and toes wiggling, maybe opening and closing your jaw, swallowing, yawning, stretching. Continuing to move and eventually finding your way to either side into the fetal position. Knees slightly tucked in. Maybe your bottom arm is pillow. Taking your time, and eventually at the bottom of an exhale, start to press your way up to a comfortable seat. Joining hands in front of your heart center. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace in our actions, peace in our words, peace in our thoughts. Bringing thumbs up to third eye center. And in a little gesture of gratitude, if it feels right to you, let's take a little bow forward together now. Peace. Rising back up in your own time. Thank you.